I think this is going to be the final video on the outsourced manufacturing video series. I've made 3 other videos so far, and this video we're going to purchase inventory that will be shipped to the fabricator, you know, the third-party manufacturing company that we've hired, our third-party vendor. And we're going to close out the outsourced manufacturing order. So I'm going to kind of do 2 things in this one video. I'm Lance, inventory software expert since 2006. And here's outsourced manufacturing, closing outsourced manufacturing. Okay, so one thing I did wrong in a previous video, we're going to first start out and fix that. I mean, it's not completely wrong, but it's just not complete. We created a couple of parts on the previous video, but we didn't assign them to a vendor. So it wasn't easy to use the purchasing tools Fishbowl provides for us because we hadn't yet assigned a vendor to the part number that we created. So I'm going to quickly do that so we can use the outsourced purchasing tool. I'm going to say we're going to assign both of these to Franz Fasteners. Lead time, we'll say 10 days, minimum quantity 100. So we could buy that from Franz Fasteners. And then I created another inventory type item. Actually, yeah, this is an adhesive, kind of a glue. So we're gonna, yeah, sure, we'll buy this from Franz Fasteners too, why not? And we'll buy this by the gallon instead of the fluid ounce. And let's say it's 45.50, 10-day lead time. Minimum quantity, sure, they'll let us buy 1 gallon at a time. All right, so we click save. So what we just did is we just made our life easy for us in the future. We just assigned those 2 parts to vendors. Now we can use the auto PO feature to just easily create purchase orders and ship to the vendor. So let's go to the purchase order screen, click on auto PO, and select Joe's Fabricator because we want to purchase what Joe's Fabricator needs. We created the demand at Joe's Fabricator by creating manufacturer orders at Joe's Fabricators. That's what we did on the previous video. So, but we're short. This purchase order is going to see that our forecasted quantity on hand is a negative, and it's going to tell us, well, you need to buy 70 of these to bring it back to 0, or if we want, we can buy 100 and override that. And same thing here, it says, well, you only need point whatever of a gallon, and we're going to say, no, we're just going to buy a couple of gallons, and then we're going to buy 100 of these too. So we can totally override the recommendation Fishbowl's given us. And then on this last step, I wish Fishbowl would just make this the default setting because I always click this. This organizes it nicely. If we just click bid request, click finish, then we've created purchase orders that will be drop shipped to our fabricator. And you can easily see them because it's there with the bid request status. So here's one, and it's doing this weird thing where it's defaulting to the wrong address. So I'm just reselecting Joe's Fabricator to assure it's being shipped to the correct address. And then we'll issue that purchase order, send the email to the vendor we're asking to supply our fabricator, right? So we're never going to see this part. It's going straight from the supplier to our fabricator. And the purchase order is going to have this ship to address, the fabricator's ship to address on it. So let's issue the other purchase order. Here's our 2 parts and the price. Oh, it looks like we forgot the price on this one. Their cost, let's just say they're, oh, what are these? These are bolts, aren't they? They're 3-inch bolts, so they're probably 8 cents each, 5 cents each. And we can issue this purchase order, send the email to these guys. Email this purchase order. So now we've got 2 issued purchase orders on their way to the fabricator. The only tricky part about these types of purchase orders is we never actually receive them. right? We just get the bill saying that they sent it over there. And I guess we kind of have to trust that they all made it there or somehow determine that it's there. So we'll receive what was received to the Fabricator, and notice the location is the Fabricator location group. So we're receiving it to there, and we might reconcile it, get the invoice from the vendor, and add a shipping charge and land the cost and everything. It's like the Fabricator's location is our location. So I hope that's one takeaway you're getting from this is, yeah, we're just treating the Fabricator's location like our location. And we're supplying them with stuff. This next one, I'm just going to do a shortcut. Don't ever do that in real life. But for this video, we want to mainly focus on closing out the manufacturer order. So we see now in picking that we have everything available. In the previous video, you saw that those were red squares. They weren't available, so we couldn't finish out the manufacturing order. Okay, so I said that this video would have 2 steps. That's the first step. We just created purchase orders and supplied our Fabricator with everything that they needed. You could also create a transfer order and supply your Fabricator with everything they needed from a transfer order if you have more of a hub and spoke type of model where you purchase to your warehouse and then ship it to them. Okay. We just did a purchase order drop ship. So now the final piece, the vendor finishes the work that you asked them to do. We asked them to do that work in the previous video. They finished the work, and now they're going to send you the finished parts, and they're going to bill you for their work. All right. So let's get the parts first. They're going to come in to receiving. Receiving is going to say, oh, wait a minute. This is our Fabricator. And the packing list has an M on it. It doesn't have a P. So it's not referencing a purchase order. It's referencing a manufacturer order. So this is some training that the receiving guys will need to undergo. They need to understand that if it comes from this vendor and it has an M on it instead of a P, that means you hand the packing slip to the office and they're going to close out. They're going to quote unquote do the receiving process. Okay. So the quote unquote receiving process will be coming here to the manufacturer order screen and clicking the finish button. Okay. And walking through the finish wizard, the steps. So we're representing the picking of these items at the plant, at someone else's plant. And also we're reconciling what they charged us. So we want the bill at this point as well, because the bill may say, oh, we were wrong about the charge and they actually charged us $45.20. This is why we have the dollar unit of measure, because it provides us with this flexibility so we can enter in whatever our outsourced manufacturer charged us for their service. If there's any discrepancies, we can put it here. Now let me go back a little bit. This brings up another thought. What if the vendor charged us for shipping, right? We can actually go here to the work order. I went too fast on that one. We can go here to the work order. We need to do it beforehand. And click the little green plus sign and add shipping as a raw good and the shipping charge here. And I guess in this case, we might want to get creative and add a service type part for shipping with the charge and everything, because this actually is not going to work. We need a service type part with shipping that has the dollar symbol mapped to shipping expense and shipping accrual and all that. So we didn't do that in this video, but you get the idea. It's the same sort of idea as the service type part for the vendor. So yeah, so the receiving is just fulfilling the manufacturer order, entering in actual cost, actual consumption, actual yield. But at the very end, when we close out, instead of saying we finished it at Joe's Fabricators, say we finished it and put it in our warehouse right here. There you go. That's the end. That's the final step of closing out the work order. Now I guess there's one more step, right? And that's entering the bill, the vendor's bill. You can either enter that bill in QuickBooks or create a purchase order and receive the service and create a bill in Fishbowl. That's kind of up to you. So maybe I should do one more video that shows that, where we're entering the bill into QuickBooks or creating the purchase order, because that's where the clearing account actually clears. So yeah, I think I'm going to do one more video, and we'll do an export to QuickBooks and show you the journal entry that sends to QuickBooks and how it makes a negative amount on the clearing account at first, but then when we put the bill in, it'll clear that out and zero out that clearing account. And the net result will be a debit to inventory and a credit to payables in net. So I guess there's going to be one more video. Stay tuned for the next video.